Hello students and welcome to this video of DCS. Today we are going to start the second unit in which we will first study the PCM. PCM is pulse code modulation. So what is the need for using PCM? It is used when we need digital data transmission. As we know that digital data transmission has many advantages over analog, right? So it includes conversion of analog signal into digital, and then we can encode those signals and send over the channel. So let's start. A digital signal is superior to an analog signal because it is more robust to noise and can easily be recovered, corrected and amplified. For this reason, the tendency today is to change an analog signal to digital data. So today we are going to discuss the pulse code modulation. It is PCM, means pulse code modulation. PCM consists of 3 steps to digitize an analog signal. First is sampling, second is quantization, and third is binary encoding. So while converting a signal into digital, we need these 3 steps to be performed. Before we sample, we have to filter the signal to limit the maximum frequency of the signal as it affects the sampling rate. Filtering should ensure that we do not distort the signal, that is, remove high frequency components that affect the signal shape. While sampling, we use a sampling frequency which should be greater than the maximum frequency content of the signal. मीन्स फॉर एक्झाम्पल आपल्याकडे जो सिग्नल आहे त्याचा मॅक्सिमम फ्रिक्वेन्सी कंटेंट आहे 4 किलोहर्ट्ज. तर त्या केसमध्ये आपल्याला 4 किलोहर्ट्जपेक्षा ॲटलिस्ट ट्वाईस म्हणजे 8 किलोहर्ट्ज सॅम्पलिंग फ्रिक्वेन्सी यूज करावी लागते. सो दॅट्स वाय वी नीड टू नो what is the maximum frequency of the signal. Okay, these are the components of PCM encoder. We have analog signal. Here, this analog signal needs to be converted into a coded digital signal, right? So first we use sampling. In this sampling, we get samples of this signal at definite time instants. Then quantizing. Quantizing means we decide particular amplitude levels at the given time samples. And then third is encoding. Encoding means we represent those predefined levels in binary format so that it can be sent as a digital data on the channel. We take one example so it will be easier to understand. Sampling. Analog signal is sampled every TS second. TS is referred to as sampling interval. सो जो ॲनालॉग सिग्नल आपल्याला डिजिटलमध्ये कन्व्हर्ट करायचा आहे तो TS या टाईम इन्स्टंट्सला आपण त्याची व्हॅल्यू आहे ती व्हॅल्यू घेतो, त्याला आपण सॅम्पलिंग असं म्हणतो. तर TS जो आहे टाईम इन्स्टंट, ओके, त्याचा इन्व्हर्स म्हणजे सॅम्पलिंग फ्रिक्वेन्सी. So Fs is equal to 1 divided by Ts is called the sampling rate or sampling frequency. There are 3 sampling methods. First is ideal, in which an impulse at each sampling instant is taken. Then second is natural sampling, in which a pulse of short width with varying amplitude is taken. And third is flat top sampling, in which sample and hold like natural sampling but with single amplitude value. The process is referred to as pulse amplitude modulation and the outcome is signal with analog or non-integer values. We will see in next slide. See here. This is the signal which is to be converted to digital, right? सो या ज्या पिंक लाईन्स दिसत आहेत त्या सॅम्पल्स आहेत. इन आयडियल सॅम्पलिंग वी हॅव ओनली इन्स्टंटेनियस व्हॅल्यूज ॲट गिवन टाईम इंटरवल्स. सो आफ्टर एव्हरी TS सेकंड वी हॅव अ न्यू सॅम्पल. या सॅम्पलमध्ये जी त्या सिग्नलची व्हॅल्यू आहे ती व्हॅल्यू आपण कन्सिडर करतो. It is ideal sampling. Okay, in natural sampling, instead of only instantaneous one value, we have a pulse of duration, finite duration. And its amplitude is same as the given input signal. So if you see here the shape of that pulse, the time instant is definite but amplitude is same as the given analog signal, right? And in third type of sampling, we have pulses of finite duration, but the amplitude is fixed for a given pulse. So, as the name indicates, it's flat top sampling. Okay, so now you have the difference in between these three techniques of sampling. It is easier to understand using the diagram. Now there is a theorem called Nyquist theorem which gives the relation between the sampling frequency and the signal frequency. According to the Nyquist theorem, the sampling rate must be at least 2 times the highest frequency contained in the signal. सो ज्या रेटला आपण हा सिग्नल सॅम्पल करतोय तो रेट ॲटलिस्ट ट्वाईस असला पाहिजे मॅक्सिमम सिग्नल कंटेंट फ्रिक्वेन्सीच्या. ओके, ॲटलिस्ट इट शुड बी ट्वाईस द मॅक्सिमम फ्रिक्वेन्सी ऑफ द सिग्नल. Only then it will be faithfully converted into digital format. Otherwise we can lose the data. Okay, for example, let us sample maximum sine wave at 3 sampling rates. F is equal to 4f, 2 times of Nyquist rate, f is equal to 2f Nyquist rate, and f is equal to f, that is 1/2 of Nyquist rate. सो आपण आता हे एक्झाम्पल घेतलं आहे, याच्यामध्ये ॲनालॉग सिग्नल आहे, त्याला 3 वेगळ्या वेगळ्या सॅम्पलिंग रेटला सॅम्पल केलं आहे. सो लेट अस सी व्हॉट इज द रिझल्ट. सी हिअर, हिअर वी हॅव टेकन sampling frequency is equal to 2f, which is known as Nyquist rate. So you can see that we can faithfully convert the given signal by taking these samples. Now in oversampling, in which the sampling rate is 4 times f, means double the Nyquist rate, here we have more samples and we have again faithful conversion by using these samples. And if this rate is less than Nyquist rate, see here the number of samples are very less and we do not get the clear idea of the signal. Here we have totally we can say distort the signal, right? So at least it should be twice f or more than that. This is example. Telephone companies digitize voice by assuming a maximum frequency of 4 kilohertz. The sampling rate therefore is 8 kilohertz samples per second. Second example, a complex low pass signal has bandwidth of 200 kilohertz. What is the minimum sampling rate? The bandwidth is between 0 and f, where f is maximum frequency. Therefore we can sample the signal at 2 times of the highest frequency, that is 2 times of 200 kilohertz. The sampling rate is therefore 400 kilohertz. Another example, a complex bandpass filter or signal has a bandwidth of 200 kilohertz. What is the minimum sampling rate for this signal? We cannot find the minimum sampling rate in this case because we do not know where the bandwidth starts or ends, because it is band pass signal. In previous example it was low pass signal, so we could find the maximum frequency using bandwidth. Low pass filter मध्ये आपण फाइंड आउट करू शकतो कारण बँडविड्थ ही 0 पासून f पर्यंत असते, सो मॅक्सिमम फ्रिक्वेन्सी वी कुड फाइंड आउट. बट हियर इट इज अ बँड पास फिल्टर, सो आपल्याला माहीत नाही की बँड कुठून स्टार्ट झाला आणि कुठे एंड झाला आहे. So maximum frequency content we cannot find out, hence we cannot find out what is the Nyquist rate for this signal. Okay, so after sampling, next step is quantization. as the sampling results in series of pulses of varying amplitude values ranging between two limits, a minimum and a maximum. The amplitude values are infinite between the two limits. We need to map the infinite amplitude values onto a finite set of known values. This is achieved by dividing the distance between minimum and maximum into L zones, each of height delta. And delta is calculated as maximum minus minimum divided by L. So why quantization is needed? When we sample a signal, we now have with us different pulses or set of pulses with different amplitudes, varying amplitudes. या amplitudeला कुठल्या इन्स्टंटला कुठली व्हॅल्यू असेल आपल्याला माहिती नाही. वी कॅनॉट प्रेडिक्ट, राईट. ओनली वी कॅन नो दॅट दिस इज द मिनिमम व्हॅल्यू अँड दिस इज द मॅक्सिमम व्हॅल्यू. सो या दोन मिनिमम आणि मॅक्सिमम या दोन व्हॅल्यूजच्या मध्ये या पूर्ण रेंजमध्ये कुठलीही व्हॅल्यू सिग्नल घेऊ शकतो, राईट. सो इट कॅन टेक एनी व्हॅल्यू बिटवीन मिनिमम अँड मॅक्सिमम रेंज. सो वी हॅव इन्फायनाईट पॉसिबिलिटीज, इजंट इट? सो टू लिमिट दॅट we use quantization. So now we will have a finite set of values which a signal can take. For that we divide the entire range from minimum to maximum into smaller zones. Height of these zones is delta. Okay, and we can calculate the height of this delta. Let's take example. The midpoint of each zone is assigned a value from 0 to L minus 1, resulting in L values. Each sample falling in a zone is then approximated to the value of the midpoint. We consider one example. It will be immediately clear to you what is zone and what is delta. Okay, take one example. Assume we have a voltage signal with amplitudes V minimum max minus 20 volt and V max plus 20 volt. So we have considered a signal which is varying from minus 20 volts to plus 20 volts. And we want to use L equal to 8 quantization levels. So we want to divide this entire range into 8 levels, quantization levels. So how can we calculate the delta? Delta is equal to the maximum value minus minimum value divided by L zones, right? Put the values here. 20 minus minus 20, minus minus plus, so it is 40 divided by L. L here is 8. So 40 divided by 8, we get the value or zone width is equal to 5. So now we got 8 zones as minus 20 to minus 15 first zone, minus 15 to minus 10 second zone, minus 10 to minus 5 third, minus 5 to 0, then 0 to 5, 5 to 10, 10 to 15 and 15 to 20. So in this way we have divided the entire range from minus 20 volt to plus 20 volt into 8 zones. Then we calculate midpoint of each zone. For example, the midpoint of zone minus 20 to minus 15 is minus 17.5. या झोनमध्ये जेव्हा सॅम्पलिंग होईल किंवा आपण सॅम्पल घेतो तेव्हा सिग्नल जर का या झोनमध्ये असेल तर त्याला आपण ॲम्प्लिट्यूड असाइन करतो, ती या झोनचा मिडपॉइंट असेल. ओके, अँड सो ऑन. Then each zone is then assigned a binary code. The number of bits required to encode the zones or the number of bits per sample, as it is commonly referred to, is obtained as follows. आता हे आपण क्वांटायझेशन केल्यानंतर प्रत्येक झोनला आपण बायनरी नंबर्समध्ये डिफाईन करतोय. ओके, आपण त्या प्रत्येक झोनला एक बायनरी कोड असाइन करतो. किती बिटचा कोड असेल हे डिफाईन करण्यासाठी फॉर्म्युला आहे n इज इक्वल टू log L to the base 2. So we will get the number of bits. For our example, NB is equal to 3. Why? Because log of 8 to the base 2. We know that 2 raised to 3 is 8. सो लॉग ऑफ 8 to the base 2 इज इक्वल टू 3. सो या केसमध्ये 3 बिटचे कोड्स आपण प्रत्येक झोनला असाइन करणार. सो द 8 झोन्स और लेवल कोड्स आर therefore 000, 001, 010, 011, 100, 101, 110 and 111. If you observe, these are the binary numbers from 0 to 7, isn't it? Because we have 8 different values. So 3 bits are sufficient. Now assigning codes. 000 will refer to the lowest zone, -20 to -15. 001 -15 to -10, etc. So the maximum level zone means +15 to +20 zone will be having code assigned to it 111. So I hope it is clear to you. So after sampling, quantization and encoding, we will have a stream of bits which will give us data like this that can be easily transmitted on the given channel. So in this way we have converted the analog signal into stream of bits by using sampling, quantization and encoding. Now there is an error which occurs due to this quantization. It is called as quantization error. When a signal is quantized, we introduce an error. The coded signal is an approximation of the actual amplitude value. Because in quantization, we know that whenever signal falls into a particular zone, we assign the midpoint of that zone. ॲक्च्युली त्याची व्हॅल्यू ही मिडपॉईंटला नसून वर किंवा खाली असू शकते, ज्यामुळे एरर येतो की ॲक्च्युअल व्हॅल्यू आपण घेत नाही, आपण त्या झोनचा मिडपॉईंट त्याला असाइन करतोय. Okay, the difference between actual and coded value, that is midpoint, is referred to as the quantization error. The more zones, the smaller delta, which results in smaller errors. But the more zones, the more bits required to encode the samples. Signals with lower amplitude values will suffer more from quantization error, as the error range delta by 2 is fixed for all signal levels, because zones are having fixed size, right? So whenever the amplitude is smaller, it will be more affected by the quantization error. Non-linear quantization is used to alleviate this problem. Goal is to keep SNR fixed for all sample values. So we can have non-linear quantization also. Two approaches are: the quantization levels follow logarithmic curve, smaller deltas at lower amplitudes and larger deltas at higher amplitudes. That can also be done. Or companding. The sample values are compressed at the sender into logarithmic zones and then expanded at the receiver. The zones are fixed in height. Bitrate and bandwidth requirement. The bitrate of PCM signal can be calculated from the number of bits per sample into the sampling rate. So bitrate is equal to NB into Fs. The bandwidth required to transmit the signal depends on the type of line coding used. Line coding we have already discussed in unit 1. Refer to previous section for discussion and formulae. A digitized signal will always need more bandwidth than the original analog signal. Price we pay for robustness and other features of digital transmission. So always bandwidth requirement will be more in case of digital signal compared to original analog signal. So get another example. We want to digitize human voice. What is the bit rate assuming 8 bits per sample? So normally human voice contains frequencies from 0 to 4000 hertz, right? So the sampling rate we will calculate. As the maximum frequency content is 4 kilohertz, right? So Fs or sampling frequency will be equal to 2 into 4 kilohertz. It will be 8 kilohertz, right? And bitrate is equal to the sampling rate multiplied by number of bits. So here in this case 8 kilohertz multiplied by 8 will give us the bit rate. Now PCM decoder. To recover an analog signal from digitized signal, we follow the following steps. We use a hold circuit that holds the amplitude value of a pulse till the next pulse arrives. We pass this signal through a low pass filter with cutoff frequency that is equal to the highest frequency in the pre-sampled signal. The higher the value of L, the less distortion signal is recovered. See here, when we receive this digital data stream, we use this circuit which holds the pulse amplitude. Here it gets this amplitude, it holds it. Gets next amplitude, holds for till the next pulse comes. Again it gets next pulse, it holds that amplitude till next pulse. So in this way, this circuit holds the previous amplitude till the next pulse comes. Then we pass this signal through low pass filter. So it will limit the maximum frequency and we can generate this analog signal which was initially sent from the transmitter, which is nearly equal to the original signal using these two circuits. So in this way we have studied the sampling, quantization, encoding and decoding of PCM. So we will stop here. I want you to write the definitions, solve the examples, draw the block diagrams of the PCM, encoding and decoding. Okay, thank you for watching.